Yes, people, how are we all doing? Welcome all back to the channel. Going to be trying something new every lunchtime of a weekday, that is, not of a weekend, because I'm out drinking of weekends. Every lunchtime of a weekday, I'm going to try and just sit and chat about general footy for an hour, just because why not? Because why not, people? If you're new to the video, before we get started, make sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any more content. Big ups my guy, Yuvraj. We've had discussions about Odegaard in big games. I think Szoboszlai is better than. We will touch on Martin Odegaard because there are uncomfortable conversations that need to be had about the Norwegian. United will get past up versus City. Copenhagen had chances. Imagine City, they will punish United. Obviously, we'll touch on the United game as well. Big ups Ryan. I can't lie. Tonali can hold that. Onana needs that confidence booster now. He needs to use that confidence moving forward, but I hope he does not. He knew what the rules were and how breaking them could be detrimental for his career. He can hold that. Tonali had to move from Milan to Newcastle nowadays. By the way, Calvert-Lewin had scored that chance in the first minute after Midal. Okay, yeah. It's just no correlation. It's just absolutely no correlation. Does Tom Little have more ball knowledge than Hassam need the quiz to happen? Hassam's in the chat now. I will call out right now. I will face Don Hassam 6 on whatever channel, whatever time for a Liverpool quiz. The call out has been made. The challenge has been thrown out there. This is your call, Hassam. I'll do you in, mate. I'll do you in. This McAllister guy just annoys me. I thought he was fine. It's Everton. I thought he had a decent game. Big ups my guy, Revenite. Big ups Liam. Big ups B Winnie. The fact that we're fourth in the table and we don't have a DM is quite a feat. Big ups my guy Tucker. Gravenberch would be better than Szoboszlai IMO. Happy that we have both. What was that thing Rio Ferdinand said? Just enjoy them both, man. Just enjoy them both. If you wants to tell me that streamed a lot more since he got monetized, I have been just as inconsistent, mate. Maguire and Arnold redemption just in time for the City game. Poetic as fuck. Could you imagine? Because my guy Captain Sal, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. I'll tell you what, people, someone will remember in the chat, but my birthday is in the next 7 days. But what day is it? So I'm checking the WhatsApp, otherwise you'll have a moan at me. But yes, people, I am live with Don Hassam at 6 today. So make sure you're checking that out as well. Going to be talking Liverpool as per usual. Ryan, your Van der Ven take was horrible. He's now bossing it for Spurs. Ryan's had some horrific takes. Ryan tried to tell me last season that Julian Alvarez was overrated and not that good. Because my cat fell, Thomas, and don't want to watch along. This McAllister guy amazed me just doing it to bounce out the right. Guys, I have bad memory. It doesn't mean Tom has more knowledge. The challenge out there, mate. You sat there yesterday. You called me out on stream. I answered your call out, and now you're ducking it. Redmond was there. Redmond also offered to officiate it. The challenge is there, mate. The challenge is there. What's with the standard on Mac? He's been playing that position. We've only lost one game. I agree. 29th. It is not the 29th. Van der Ven will get exposed eventually. Disagree. But people, but let's get into this. We are going to talk. Let's start off with the Champions League. I only watched the United game. I haven't seen the highlights of the Arsenal game or anything. So anyone who watched the Arsenal game is going to have to tell me how that went. But I watched the United game and it was a needed win for United. That was so needed for them. I don't think they played very well. I really don't. I thought they were quite poor in a lot of elements of the game. But who was it? Who scored? Maguire. That's who scored. Maguire. I thought Maguire was brilliant. And he is actually really needed in that United team, which is a weird sort of twist of fate in terms of football because he was frozen out. They were trying to sell him in the summer. But what he gives to that United team is actually kind of needed at the minute. So I'd say he was fantastic against Sheffield United. He was great again yesterday. It wasn't a very good match. Let's just make it clear and obvious. It wasn't a very good match. But Copenhagen, the fact that Copenhagen was so in that game has to worry. It has to worry United. It so does, because they were a penalty away from being bottom of that group after 3 games. That is supposed to be their easiest game of the group. Copenhagen at home, supposed to be by far the easiest. And they scraped past. They absolutely scraped past. So what happens now when they go away to Copenhagen? Because Copenhagen played well. I didn't expect Copenhagen to do what they were doing. They had a lot of moments in that game where they were the better side. I know they hit the post. I haven't looked at the stats probably. Let me just pull them up. But I'm pretty sure the stats are like relatively close. Yeah, Copenhagen had a higher XG, but obviously that's the penalty. Had more shots. Had one more shot, but one less shot on target. Same amount of possession. Copenhagen came to Old Trafford and held their own, and that is not right in the Champions League. That's not right. So there are issues at this United. There are major issues at United. And look, I was in a space yesterday and I was saying it. This result, if they'd lost it, it won't have changed anything in my mind. Erik ten Hag is still the correct manager for Manchester United. I have to put on a neutral cap, even though I find it fucking hilarious that United are awful at the minute. Putting on a neutral cap, I can tell you that you've got to consider all the factors with this United side. They have had so many injury problems. They're down to, goes back to the Sheffield United game. They were down to fourth choice left back, who's their third choice centre back, their fourth and fifth choice centre backs, and their second choice right back. Like that squad is an amalgamation. It's an amalgamation of shit. It's got too many players from too many different managers. That squad is very hard to get anything out of. And with the turmoil going on up the ladder upstairs in that boardroom at Manchester United, they need the security and the safety net of what Ten Hag brings in terms of he's not going to get them really. They're not going to have a season like Chelsea had last season. They're just going to be middle of the road. But they're running out of time to implement the style of play this season. They're running out of time to do it. I think Ten Hag wanted to bring in a new style of play this season. And I think that's what signs were about. Onana, keeper was much better with the ball at his feet. I'm about the more athletic DM. Mount, a ball player to go in the middle of the park. Højlund, a bit of a bigger hold-up play striker. You could see that they were trying to go to a more possession-oriented style after spending last season playing off the counter. The issue is they've lacked the key players due to injuries or suspensions or whatever to properly implement that consistently this season. They now have to decide whether to value results or a play style right here, right now, because they can't go into December not knowing how they're going to play. Ten Hag might need to sit there and go, with the situation I've got, Martin is out for longer, Marcy is out for ages, don't know how fit and available Luke Shaw is going to be when he comes back. Varane's always injury prone, Mount struggling to get into the team, he's not adapted properly, all these sort of things that have kicked off, Rashford's massively out of form, all these sort of things. Am I going to have to sit there and go, right, we'll rewind back, we'll go back to a style of play that isn't what I want, but is more focused on getting results, counter-attack, defensive football, everything he'd done last season, but with a focus on getting results. He has to make that decision soon. And he has to have full backing in that decision. The ownership situation has to give him the time. I know it's a weird thing to say, but he is the best bet for United at this point because there's no one else on the market. I'm sure people can try and name me managers in the chat. None of them are better than Ten Hag. Don't try and throw Hansi Flick at me. He's wank. I don't care that he won a sextuple or whatever it was at Bayern. He had a perfectly good German side and was awful with them. He's not a good manager. United have concerns. United have problems. And Ten Hag needs to figure it out soon. But they're not as bad as people are making out. They're really not. I mean, they sit 6 points off top of the league. Obviously, it's not as far into the season. The Champions League hasn't been great for them, but they've got to win there. You really could see them scraping second in the group. Like, you really could. And then you don't know what happens at that point. You really don't know what happens at that point in the Champions League. So, look, it was an important win for United. It was an important performance for certain players. It really, really was. But I can't believe Copenhagen didn't score. That seems to be a theme a lot this season. I've watched a lot of these big sides go against smaller sides, and they concede They can see good chances. I mean, I go back to Tottenham versus Luton. How the fuck Luton didn't score, I'll never know. That just seems to be a common issue among these teams at the minute. They're creating the chances very well, but they can't kick it in the back of the net. They really can't. So it will come eventually. This is the thing. There will come a game where a small team, like not a big team. I mean, there's already been some decent results. I mean, Wolves doing in City, Fulham, actually, I thought played quite well against Arsenal at the Emirates, at the start of the season. That it's going to come a time where a Luton or a Sheffield United or a Bournemouth are the one I'm looking for, are just going to end up beating a decent team for 4-5-1. And you sit there and go, where's that come from? Because everything just clicks. Everything just clicks. I think United have the issue. I think Chelsea have the issue. I think we at points have the issue. And I also think that Tottenham will have the issue where sometimes your defence just switches off. Tottenham haven't shown it yet, but I've got enough of a back catalogue of certain players in that squad to know it. But look, United fans will be happy with the win, but there has to be a cause for concern. There really has to be a cause for concern. Not a cause for the manager to get sacked. This is the big difference. There is not a cause for the manager to lose his job. There is a cause for concern regarding players' performances. Ten Hag hasn't changed much. Ten Hag is trying to go to a style of play that the United fans wants them to go to. Certain players are struggling to adapt, i.e. Marcus Rashford. United can't let player power win again. They can't let player power win again. Otherwise, they'll end up going through the same cycle that they've been going through and going through and going through. But where were we up to? Where were we up to? Onana, last minute pen scenes. Mason Mount is one of Tom's biggest L's. Yep. United the poor, can't lie. 100%. Certain aspects are really poor. I mean, look, Rashford's been awful this season. I think Fernandes then ends up suffering as a result. I think Anthony is just Anthony. Anthony's just Anthony. That's all I need to tell him. Anthony's just Anthony. I think Rasmus suffers then when... So if you have Anthony, Fernandes, Rashford in behind, you have three players who aren't creators. Whether you like it or not, they're not creators. Anthony's just shit. Fernandes he's a creator in the sense that chances are created from him, not that he's creating all the chances. A lot of chances that he creates are when he moves to try and score a goal and all that sort of stuff. And Rashford certainly isn't a chance creator, certainly isn't trying to set up Højlund. Therefore, Rasmus Højlund can often just get ostracised in games because he's not getting service into him. These type of strikers, Rasmus Højlund needs the ball to feet. He needs the ball to do something with it. He's not a Haaland in the sense that Haaland can spend 90 minutes doing fuck all. But because he's constantly running behind that back line, making the correct runs, doing all this, that, and the other, something can happen. That's Haaland's style of play. Rasmus' style of play. Rasmus could develop that. But Højlund right now wants to be a back to goal, receive the ball to feet striker, get the link up, and then spin off and move. He wants to do both phases, which is why I think if we go back to last summer, who was the player United wanted to sign to play up front? Cody Gakpo. A player who, for us, has shown in both phases, the dropping deep, linking up, creating, and the turning, getting on your bike, getting in behind. He can do both. That is clearly what he wants. He's got one of them now in Rasmus Højlund. But now, they're not getting the ball into the striker because of how they played last season. This pre-season is, I think, where it went wrong for United because they clearly something went wrong in terms of implementing the system. Maybe it was the fact that they didn't get certain players in time. I mean, they played Jadon Sancho as a striker. That is clearly not the type of striker they wanted to have. So this is why I'm a big fan of what Jurgen Klopp does and what other managers do. Get your players in at the start of pre-season, especially when you're trying to implement a new style of play. You need those players in at the start because the style Ollie wants to play is such a different style from how they played last season. It is going to take time to adapt. The last manager, so if we disregard Ten Hag, the last manager United had who wanted to play possession-based, dominant football was arguably Van Gaal. But even in the latter stages of that one, that wasn't really the case. If you look at this United squad, you have players from Jose, Ollie, Rangnick, all of which wanted to play defensive counter-attacking football. Even last season. That is why they played defensive counter-attacking football, because the squad was built for that. With that being the case, it's going to take these players longer to adapt to a completely different style of play than what they've been used to for the past however many years. A broken up preseason is not going to do that, which is why I now sit there and go, you're going to have to go back. You're going to have to push your idea and push your basis of your style of play building back another year until you have a full preseason. And you need to make the most of this preseason because this is last chance saloon. You can't keep getting away with, I need the preseason. I need the preseason. You had one, it didn't work for whatever reason. Injuries, signs didn't come in time, whatever. Push it back one more time. You have to figure it out now. You have to figure it out now. Benfica are awful 0 points in that group. What group are they in? Oh, they're in the Europa League group, aren't they? Benfica missing Nunes. Any team's going to miss a strike like Nunes. Maguire is the best centre back, whether you like it or not. He's not, but he's what they need right now. They need someone on the ball. Rafael Varane isn't a great ball playing defender. They need someone who is good on the ball. And for as much shit as they like to give Harry Maguire is good on the ball. It was such a dodgy and scrappy win. Either Copenhagen are better than what I expect them to be, or is it just not? It's a mixture of both. Copenhagen really surprised me. It's mad how much they declined this season. There was talks of a title push this year, but it looks like a first team when where he doesn't know how to play with what he's got. Like I said, it's style of play. It's style of play. I saw Sam sitting next to Gunnar yesterday in Sevilla. Did he show it to us? Oh, that pen was set away. You can tell the guy was nervous. Anyone's going to be nervous in that situation, but I would have given it to El Yunusi personally. I like the idea of giving your penalty to the players who've had the best games. In other situations, you give it to your best penalty takers, but I don't think Jordan Larson's a fantastic penalty taker. You can tell. I can sort of tell by the run up and the stance and everything. I never like it when they do the stutters. I might be old fashioned. I never like a run up where they stutter and do the oh. No, it's not. You put the ball down. You take 4 steps back. You run up. You twat it in. That's simple. That's how it goes. That is how you take a proper penalty. That's how it should be. And they're not all these little whoa. It doesn't work anymore because keepers have to go against that how often. So I think penalty taking needs to go back to what they do, which is the long, quick run-ups. Salah does it, even though he's got a dodgy penalty technique. Kane just runs up and hits it. Haaland just runs up and hits it. I mean, Mbappe does the little slow steps at the start, but then runs up and hits it. There's no... Ronaldo runs up and hits it. Messi runs up and hits it. These players who I thought are very highly in terms of penalty taking, they just run up and smack it because it's what works. I'm not getting hyped by United fans now like they weren't busy slandering him for weeks. He's not a good goalkeeper. They needed to coach his fundamentals during the international break. United bought a ball player because it's what they needed, but in turn they've lost what was still a top 3 shot stopper in the league. And what has happened is they needed the shot stopper with the way they've played this season, and they haven't got it. Rashford has no first touch. Rashford's just so low on confidence at the minute, and to be honest, I think confidence is the biggest thing for an attacker. You need confidence, and Rashford's got no confidence, none at all. Injuries aren't an excuse when you're being outperformed by relegation. 100% they are, but they can't be. They are a reason, not an excuse. You can't excuse bad results, but you could explain them. you can explain them. They still have to have a repercussion. There still has to be an effect of them. But it's not. There's a difference between a reason and an excuse, and this is a reason. United aren't playing well because of this. It's obvious. Same way that when we were down centre backs, we weren't playing well because of it. When City lost centre backs, they weren't playing well because of it. When teams want to build up from the back, your centre backs are the most important piece. You lose them, everything falls apart. It was my guy Alexander. Good to see you, mate. Definitely been unlucky injury wise, but look, I'm not saying that when Martinez comes back and Luke Shaw comes back and AWB comes back, United are all of a sudden going to be title challengers, because they're not. There are deeper rooted issues, but they will certainly be better in terms of than what they've shown right now. 100%. 100%. A team that spends 1.5 billion over 10 years or whatever that stats can't cry about injuries against Sheffield United. Again, though, you can, because they are without. For that Sheffield United game, they were without all three left backs, the two starting centre backs, and the starting right back. That's a bad crisis. That's a bad crisis. I think you've got every right to say that is why we're not playing as well. What it does do, though, is put the pressure on when they do return, because you need to see an upturn in performances. He wants a Gakpo as well, and someone's over the possession style. Exactly, he wants a Gakpo to drop deep. The physical presence of Gakpo and the quality of link-up of Gakpo is that's the striker that Ten Hag wants. And he's got a form of that in Højlund, but he doesn't have the players behind him. Link-up is a two-man job. Link-up is not a one-man job. He can do the hold-up play, but he needs someone to play it into him. And no one is playing it into Rasmus Højlund. It's all Hollywood FC. And that isn't going to work. Now they're going to get smoked in Istanbul. See, this is the thing for United. So let me just look at the groups. Let me just look at that group stage sort of thing. So Man United sit third at the minute. Bayern are top with 9. Galatasaray have 4. United have 3. And Copenhagen have 1. Now, if United beat Copenhagen in Denmark and Bayern beat Galatasaray again, which could very well happen, Bayern are through, I think. Yeah, Bayern will be through, because Galatasaray, yeah. So Bayern will be through, probably. They won't be top, but they pretty much guarantee it once they get a result against Copenhagen. United then would have to go to face Galatasaray away and Bayern at home. I don't know how it lines up. Is Bayern at home the game that could secure United? It isn't. So Bayern at home is the last game. That could be a game where Bayern don't need to take it seriously. That could be the thing that bails United out if they're able to get something against Galatasaray. It really, really could do. United will get Europa League. If they finish there, it's hilarious after all the shit they've given us. Tom, remember when we got slandered for the draw? Chelsea away, but the mighty Arsenal couldn't get a win there and barely managed to scrape points. Chelsea away is a tough game. It's a real, real tough game. Stamford Bridge is always going to be a tough place to go. We had the issue first day of this was Chelsea on a high after a good pre-season. A new manager bounce, everything sort of was there. The Arsenal one is worse because this was a Chelsea team low on confidence, low on belief, and they conceded 2. They were 2-0 down. It was a decent comeback, but they needed mistakes from Sanchez to get them through. Nagelsmann, I think he's incredibly overrated. Højlund will come good. Ratcliffe has to get the keys to Paul Mitchell. Michael Edwards to Eric Ten Hag. I hope Michael Edwards doesn't go there, but the thing is with Michael Edwards, we give him a lot of praise, and rightly so, but he also had a fantastic backroom staff team around him in terms of the scouting departments and the data departments, and I don't know if United have that. They're never going to win the competition. Don't even have the squad to play in all these competitions. They don't have the squad to win any competition, but I didn't think they had the squad to win any competition last season. You can never tell how it goes. At the end of the day, if you're in it, you can win it. If they tried to counter-attack City on Saturday, they might pull it off. That's how they beat City. That is how they can beat City. They've played a lot of easy teams apart from Arsenal and Spurs and Brighton, which they lost. What happens when it's City, Villa, West Ham, Newcastle? They've got a turn up. They've 100% got a turn up. I don't think anyone's disputing that. Don't be saying this. Don't be a Forest on the weekend, lad. Top four is difficult this season. Is Newcastle, Villa. Top four is easy. City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham. Maybe Newcastle sneaking over Tottenham, but that's it. Tom, off topic. Considering that Elliot coming on as a sub but looks poor when he starts, what do you think his role at the club is? I don't know if he'll settle for a super sub role. Harvey Elliott's role for the football club is an attacking midfielder. The issue is we don't play with one. The reason why he looks good in his substitute appearances is either he comes on in his natural position on the right when we go to a 4-4-2, or he comes on with the freedom to play an attacking midfielder when we're chasing goals. The only game he's done neither was Newcastle, and that was a complete fluke. He played well. I'm not going to dispute his performance, but I wouldn't do that again. I really wouldn't do that again. We just don't play him. When he starts, he's having to play as a central midfielder. He doesn't get the freedom and the license. That his style of play, he wants to get in the same positions as Salah, but when Salah's there, he's not going to do that. He just needs to settle for what he's got. And when Salah leaves, he's going to have an opportunity because Jurgen Klopp likes him. He has to take that opportunity if he wants to make it as a starter at Liverpool. He really does. Bayern isn't easy. Let's be really scored a goal, took the foot off the gas, and one conceded that instantly scored again. They toyed with United. It's not Bayern aren't easy. Bayern are a top side with a top manager. The issue with Bayern is they play game week 6. Bayern, if they beat Copenhagen and Galatasaray, have 15 points. They're through top of the group. The last game doesn't matter. So they could just go out there and play a bunch of second stringers. Oh, well. Højlund hasn't scored a Prem goal yet. Imagine if it was Nunes. Nunes scored on his debut. Nunes is a bagsman. But I like Højlund. I think Højlund's a good striker. I think Højlund is a good striker. He doesn't get the ball. It was my guy, LFC Aaron. Rangnick was spotting about United's players. Rangnick was also spotting about the players he should sign. Every single one of the players he wants United to buy have been top players. So that's one game, brother. It's not down to the centre backs to feed Højlund's chances. And I've said it's not, but when you try and build up from the back, centre backs get the ball into the midfield and midfield get the ball into the attack. If your centre backs aren't doing it well, therefore your midfielders aren't getting the ball in the same positions with the same amount of time, with the same quality. Therefore, their opportunities of playing to the striker is going to be lessened. I do think it's mainly a midfield issue. That part isn't necessarily down to the centre backs, but as a whole style of play thing, yes. Losing your centre-backs affects everyone's performance. Casemiro has been stinky this season. I agree. When's my next FIFA stream? At some point this week. When the fridge is your best player, you've got problems. Deep problems, yeah. By the way, did you see your guy, Decore, get pammed 4-0 by Newcastle? Hold that. Okay. And what? Cool. That doesn't mean he's crap. Again, people like Hassam and you, they see one game. They don't look at Decore's performance. They see one bad result and go, look at him. Disregard all the good ones and go, look at that one. Doesn't make sense, man. I always feel shaky when Salah's never been a good penalty taker. I've said this for time. I've pissed off a lot of people by saying it, but I don't care. Salah has never taken consistently good pens. He can take a good pen, but he's never taken them consistently. A lot of his pens are smashed into areas where the keeper will save it if he guesses the right way. That's the problem. There are certain... Do you want to know who's a good penalty taker in our squad? Szoboszlai. Runs up, smashes it bottom corner every time. Runs up, smashes it top corner every time. It's in the corners, it's hard to save. McAllister's a really good penalty taker. Even though he does the little fucking slow run-up, which I hate, he gets them in the corners every time. Nunes is another one with a stupid run-up. But he seems to take good penalties every time. Salah's penalties are inconsistent. But he does the right thing in terms of hitting them with so much power. Even when a keeper goes the right way, there is a chance he doesn't save it. If you hit a pen hard enough at certain angles, nothing the keeper can do about it. Mm-hmm. This is why, if you were to ask me, the best penalty that you can go for is... So I'm a right footer. So I would run up to the penalty and I'd put it bottom left, whip it across it so you can kill it right into the side netting. If you can put it there, no keeper's stopping it because no keeper can get over there. Rashford has football IQ. Rashford is low on confidence and also lacks attributes to do certain roles. They had Martinez start the season and they were playing bad. I agree, but they were also, again, let's just go through it. So I'm going to their squad. Let's go for Tottenham. The Tottenham game, they were without. So this was when they were without Højlund and they were without Amrabat. Højlund and Amrabat are two important pieces. Their build-up play against Tottenham was shit because they had no big man to go to. So all that ended up happening was they were pumping long ball. Against Arsenal, Martinez went off injured. They had no Varane. They had no Højlund until he came off the bench. Again, no Amrabat. They were playing Ericsson as a DM. That'd be like us trying to play fucking... When we signed Yari Littman and play him as a DM, it's pointless. Biggest my guy, Jamie. Prediction for the Manchester derby. I'm going to go... Is it at Old Trafford? Let me go have a look. Is that at Old Trafford? It is at Old Trafford. Ooh. I'm going to go with the 3-1 City. 3-1 City. It's not a bad thing if you like to qualify. Because there's more games for them. Guys can't even win the Europa League, so why do they meme it so hard? They're only ever in the Champions League for qualification, as they've got no chance of winning it. This guy don't even remember Jamie Redknapp. I don't remember Jamie Redknapp play for Liverpool. Well, played is a strong term. I remember Jamie Redknapp was employed by Liverpool, but he had a lot of injury problems. Elliot looks a lot better when he comes off the bench to change games rather see Curtis Jones or Gravenberch starting league games. He's better off the bench because he's playing side opposition, he can get in his positions. Curtis Jones should still be the starter, by the way. I know Ryan Gravenberch has been good. I'm not going to dispute that. But Curtis Jones for me should still be the starter because he gives the support to McAllister, which is why another reason why I want Trent Alexander-Arnold to continue to invert, despite the fact that it affects his creativity. It gives us more control. Thanks, my guy, and Dicko. Happy afternoon, Tom. My birthday's day 36. Happy birthday, lad. You shared a birthday with Dominic Soboslai. You're a very lucky man. You're a very, very lucky man. Elliot, when coming off the bench, is very good. When he starts a game, it's horrible. Depends what position he starts in. Tom, what do you think about that Ezekiel Fernandez that we've been linked with? I would be lying to you if I said I'd watched Boca Juniors. I'd be lying if I said I was watching Boca Juniors, mate. I've never been to Corey family plays for Palace, so it was shit, so a bit disingenuous to judge him while he's there. The fact of the matter is, he was voted their player of the year when they finished like 11th. Is he the level that we want to buy? No. But in the situation we were in, was he the best option available? In my opinion, yes. Now, Soboslai just goes the same way. Yeah, exactly, but they don't save it. It's that saying, you know what I'm going to do, but you can't stop it. That's Soboslai's pens. You know what he's going to do, but you can't stop it because he hits them too well. Van Dijk has a good pen. Van Dijk's pens are the savable if he gets the right way, but they're better than Salah's. That's what I'll say. They're better than Salah's. Milner was fantastic on pens. Milner was absolutely fantastic on pens. Yeah, Salah scores pens because he's the penalty taker. He's not technically very good at them. No, I agree. Is it just me or does it sound crazy? Soboslai is younger than Phil Foden. Yes and no, because Foden's thought about as a promising youngster as he has been, but he's also been around for a long time. You know, he's been playing first team football for Man City since 2017, 2018 time. So the certain players like that, their age is sort of just blurred in your mind. You don't really properly get a grip on how old they are. He should go bottom right. A lot of keepers hate diving low left. See, I went a keeper, but when I went in goal, but diving to my left was the way I hated going to me right. But I could go to me left. Tom, do you think our BC team is good enough to finish first in the Europa League group, or some starters is a must? I think it's good. Depends what you class as the BC team, because you got to factor in injuries and stuff. We're not going to play the starters, but if like Van Dijk gets a game and Salah gets a game, I'm not asked to play them. Nunes starts a couple, that's fine. It's a rotated side that is going to get us top of the group, and that is what you want. And about his average, well, the way United fans were hyping Paulson like they were signing price down was cringy. They needed him. They needed him. That's the thing. They needed him because they lack that DM. They lack that more athletic DM, should we say. Sam has good eyes to recognise talent. He does not need the whole season to assess a player, and I agree with his opinion on players. Ask him about cost, ask him about castmates. How do you evaluate Tchouaméni at Real Madrid? He's been good. He wouldn't be at Real Madrid if he wasn't playing well. I haven't really watched as much of him as I would like to, but I feel like he was let down last season by Ancelotti's favouritism towards Toni Kroos. I feel like, especially the second leg of the Etihad, that should have been a Tchouaméni game, and he went Toni Kroos, and he couldn't deal with the athleticism. I think Tchouaméni's coming into his own a little bit. Newcastle Dortmund prediction. Is it at home? Let me have a little look at the. Let me have a little look. It is at home. Okay. I could see this being another real good result for Newcastle, like a 3-0, 3-1. Really could see it. You cannot understate how important St. James's Park is. Same way you can't understate how important Anfield is. Same way you can't understate how important the Bernabeu is. Certain stadiums just have it. The atmosphere, the aura. Newcastle's very much atmosphere. Their fans are fucking electric in there. That can win games on its own. Agreed, Curtis Jones helps Maka a lot more. He's a workhorse. He doesn't need. It's not even necessarily that. He always gives him an option. I think the thing with Maka that seems to happen a lot is he gets the ball, so he doesn't like to receive the ball back to goal in the positions that he's received it in. So he receives it back to goal and he takes a touch, and he's more used to having a bit more time. He gets pressure, gets the ball taken off him because he's trying to scan for a simple option and he doesn't want to go back all the time. So I think the big thing that he does, what Curtis Jones does, is so I'm going to do this. Yeah, let me get a fucking tactical board up to show you. So present. And this. Yes. So imagine, so you got, where's Jones? There's Jones. So Van Dijk, Robertson, Canate, Trent, Maka, Jones, Soboslai, Diaz, Salah, Nunes. Right, so we got the ball there. You'll have sort of one in around that area. You'll have Trent starting to there. McAllister will be there. Robertson will be probably like there, but he will be in that spot. You'll have one sort of hanging around there. Striker will be there, and then you'll often have a midfielder sitting there. When McAllister gets the ball, the striker then moves to block that one. He gets pressed there. And when it was... So I'll go back to the Brighton game, which is where he starts to struggle a little bit. Because it was Diaz there, Diaz wasn't often the option. So McAllister would then get pressed, lose the ball. He would run to the space. And because we have to change our shape so much, the gaps open up. Whereas when Jones is playing, McAllister receives the ball. So Van Dijk into McAllister. Jones often sits in this space. So then he has to sit there. And it gives you... Yeah, thank you. It gives him an option. He can either go to the side there, or he's got an option there. And if he presses him, Robertson moves into that space. Because he can't pick up two men, there is always a man free for the McAllister layoff. Whereas when it was Diaz, or when it was at points Gravenberch, which I think Gravenberch will improve on, but still, they sit a bit higher up. He can just cover him because McAllister can't go like that first time. He's not left-footed, so he can't do that first time. The other one is Trent inverting, but because he has to move over, it's a bit of a longer pass. Plus, you'll have someone sitting there. It's a bit risky. That's why I think Jones is so important, because he's able to just give that option to McAllister, the short one, that helps retain and rotate possession. Don't convert. Declan Rice is infinitely clear. Biggest my guy, Professor Hamza, as well. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. What have we got here? Thank you for the happy birthday wish in advance as well, Victor. Good to see you, mate. Gravenberch is sexy on the eye. The way he pushes forward with the ball and pushes players off his potential. He looks really good. He looks really good. Remember that Tifo IRL video about how Curtis Jones is a big reason why we are successful? The stats show it. The eye test shows it. But certain people don't want to accept it because it's Curtis Jones. He's not flashy on the eye. You need these type of players in your team to succeed. Soboslai keeps going the same way. Eventually, it'll become predictable and they'll get saved. I mean, right. So what happens then, Ryan, is keepers sit in the middle. He hits them too hard. They can't get over there in time to dive. Even if they know what way he's going. They know what way he's going, but they can't get over there in time. Therefore, the next step will be to what Kepa done in the cup final against Van Dijk, but just stand over there. So then Soboslai just smacks it the other side. They can't stop it because he hits them too well. Big up Tom, according to Rebel TV, we're live now. Apparently, LFC can strike a deal for Nico Williams on a free this summer. And I know Nico Williams' contract's up, but a lot of these Basque players tend to stay at Bilbao because of the rule and stuff. So I'm not holding out hope on Nico. He's a good player, but I'm not holding out hope on him joining us this season. Ryan Tomby winning much on midfield versus to lose. No, look, the midfield I have for that game is Endo, Elliott, Jones. Jones needs football. Jones needs to play some football. He needs football on his legs. If we'll up through, if they win tomorrow, one game after that, then group win. Going to the last game, they can play the youngsters in the last game, focus on league for 4 months. That's a good thing about it as well. Big up Steve, by the way. James Milner's the greatest penalty taker that has ever played for Liverpool Football Club. Is he? I mean, I thought Robbie Fowler was good at pens. I've always been someone who prefers it when a striker's on pens. But Milner had a really good record. I won't sit there and judge Milner's record. I'm just having a look. Have they got the stats for it? Yes, they've got the stats for it. So, how many did Milner have? How many did Milner have? Taken 21, scored 19. That's a good race. It's a good race. Stevie taken 57, scored 47. He had some. There was some weird ones with Stevie. Aldridge taken 18, scored 17, and Jan Molby taken 45, scored 42. Look, Jan Molby's the best in history, but Milner's up there, one of the best. One stream we should compare that Ezekiel Fernandez and I don't know enough about them, to be fair. I'm sure some Brazilian, like some South American football expert who can do it. I don't want to do it because I feel I'd undersell them. But I'll try and read up a little bit on this Ezekiel Fernandez fella. If Endo will start on Thursday, he will start on Thursday, 100%. Tchouameni will be better than Rodri. It's a tough ass. That Rodri is incredible. Looking back, I'm so happy we preferred to buy Gravenberch over Amrabat. The end problem may be addressed in January. We now have an amazing box-to-box option in midfield for years to come. Amrabat was a short-term fix to a long-term problem. Gravenberch is a long-term fix to a short-term problem. And you always want long-term fixes. Mo Salah replacement for next season, who should the RB? Strange, isn't it? The Man Council allowing 4:30 kick-off for the Manchester Derby, yet was City 12:30 desperate to. Isn't it 3:30 the Manchester Derby one? Or am I wrong? I thought it was 3:30. And it was a weird one because we kick off at 2. What is it? 3:30, yeah. It's bollocks. That's all I'll say. It's bollocks. Do you think the title has to be that Klopp has the title as first priority? I think it's up there, but I don't think we have priorities in that sense. St James's Park's our second home. It's St Darwin's Park. Android personal terms agreed, apparently. I think they've been agreed for a while, haven't they? Andrew already got a style of play. Ten Hag doesn't. Maybe Ten Hag can't light in a bottle at Ajax with all these talents and Ajax is the bind. The Eredivisie, the Premier League's different pressure. Simicast has been no worse than Robbo, who's been crap for 18 months, bar a few games. Now, that is just wrong. That is just wrong. I'd say Andy Robertson started the season perfectly well. I think for the first half of last season, he was our best defender. People seem to forget that. Got 8 assists in the first half of the season, and then we changed his role and we moved him to a centre-back, and then he dried up. Robertson's been fine. Robertson has higher standards, but Robertson's average performances are a Simicast blinder. There is a reason for that. We are going to miss Robertson in these next 3 months. Thoughts on Lloyd Kelly? He's all right. I know we wanted him earlier, like a lot earlier on in his career when he was at Bristol City. But he's been all right. Certainly wouldn't be trying to buy him now. Like, it was my guy Panaskaus. Yo, what's up, Tom? We can't be playing. We can't. This is the thing I don't get about the high line stuff. You're naturally going to play with a high line when you're a dominant side, because you're going to push higher up to put teams under pressure. You're going to naturally play with a higher line. I've seen you on Saturday, Sunday, so it's your birthday. How good is Sandra guy? Very good. Big was my guy Kay as well. Certain people, you mean Kurdish and Hassam. Kurdish actually, opened his eyes, so Kurdish understands it. Hassam, Jody's still out. Kurt Jones is a good squad player. I don't get people's agenda against him. It's because he's Scouse and he's not Steven Gerrard already. Who's your ideal centre-back signing? Gonzalo Inacio. Have a look at Nicolas Gonzalez. I'm having a decent season so far for Fiorentina. He's not with the Derby. Did I see Bakayoko's goal last night? No, I haven't. I have not. But I've heard it's a good one. It's like a decent goal. How strong do we need to be for Thursday? However strong we need to be. Like Gakpo should start. Get him some footy advice. Get Jones in the starting 11. Matip start. Wants to start. I think we need to be a bit. I wouldn't be shocked to see like Luke Chambers get a start at left back because we now need to rotate left back a little bit differently. Kelleher probably comes back in. Endo gets a game. Wouldn't be shocked if it's Ben Doak. Diogo Jota probably start. It'll be relatively strong. 100% it will be. I'd love to buy a French bestie for Debut. Look, I'm just looking at it on the official Premier League app. Let me show you. I've got it on SofaScore, but I want to check on the official Premier League app. Premier League fixtures. Sunday 29th. Man United, Man City, 3:30. It's a 3:30 kickoff. Danny Murphy never missed a pen either. He had like 8, didn't he? Molby's, I didn't realise how good Molby's was. El Clasico prediction, I have no idea. No idea, mate, because I don't watch Spanish football. Robbo has been crap since the Paris final. He's not been the same. Oh my God. So Trent Alexander-Arnold get the 9 assists last season, and we go poor start, but he was fine to end the season. And Robertson gets 8 assists and was the best defender for the first half of last season. And we go, oh, he's crap. He wasn't good at any point last season. Come on, at least be fair and just. Has he been at the level he used to be at? No. But has anyone been at the level they used to be at? Bar Salah and Alisson? No. It happens. At the end of the day, Robertson's been fine. Robertson's been absolutely fine. Lads, hear me out. Trent Simcast don't work if you want Trent to invert. You have to play Joe Gomez. Why Liverpool fans like Arsenal a lot? I don't get why their fans are unbearable and gassed and deluded. Robbo's pass actually whilst running at high speed is mal underrated. We are too slow to recover with a high line. But like I said, Ravi, you can't dominate teams the way we do and not play a high line. Otherwise, there's too big a gap between the lines. There's too big gaps. I do think we are quick enough. I just think we try and defend in a different way. If we just sprinted straight back, we'd be fine. Hassan the same guy said Musiala overrated. I'm not really out of time to look into Andre, but if he had a prem comparison, it would it be? Imagine a fit Thiago Alcantara. Is Curtis still banned versus Forest? Yeah, it's the last game of suspension. What is the best Liverpool versus Man City game you've seen home and away in any tournament for both UCL games 2018? The highest quality game was the 2-1 loss. The best game was probably the 3-2 in the FA Cup. The 3-2 in the FA Cup. But the highest quality game was the 2-1 loss. That game was just ridiculous. I think a left back and or right back is more important than centre back. We have 4 CBs plus guns, so we have a first choice centre back, and we wouldn't buy a start, would we? No, I disagree. Why is Robertson underrated? Your guess is as good as mine, mate. Your Robertson, Tom, he's been whacked for a while by the odd good performance, sorry. And Tsimikas has not had an odd good performance. This is the thing. All I need to do is just go. Bukayo Saka has scored against Liverpool in exactly... What is it? One game? Scored at Anfield? He hasn't scored at Anfield. Did he score the year before? No, he didn't score the year before that. So, yeah. Bukayo Saka has scored against Liverpool in one game. And that was the one game where he matched up against Tsimikas. Robertson's kept him quiet the rest of the time. It's true Robbo's not levels that he used to be and still gets played even when he's been poor. Okay. I don't know how to explain to you that Robertson hasn't been as bad as it's being made out. He's been fine. Robbo and VVD, exactly. They set high standards when they were younger that they can't match up to now, but that doesn't mean they're bad. Doesn't mean they're bad. But Robbo's literally the top system defender in Premier League history in front of Trent, yet he receives far more hate. Saying Musiala is overrated is a crap take indeed, but Hassan was right when he said that he's not a great decision maker in the final third. But again, why do people expect 20-year-olds to be the best decision makers in the world in the final third? They're not. It's part of development. I agree with you, Tom. Doesn't mean Rob was good because to me has to step up. They should both be gone IMO. But then who do we buy? That's not going to happen, is it? That's not going to happen, so we have to pick someone. And I think Robertson's better. Tom, look at Adrian Truffert. Someone, left back plays for Stade Rennais. Looks a decent player. Now, I know all that, Adrian Truffert, because I'm doing a FM 24 basis save with Stade Rennais, and he's fucking awful. No, I'll have a look into him. He's inconsistent for me on FM, though. But I've now to move to a system where I don't play centre backs. He scored the penalty. That's the only sack goal he scored. He scored 2 last season. So he scored one where Tsimikas tried to play a high line when we weren't, and he scored the penalty, which was given away by Thiago, which wasn't. How I think about it, how can Tsimikas be any good if he plays less than the solar eclipse comes out and expect him to be good? Take your opportunities. I don't think he was very good against Everton. I don't think he was very good against Lask. Jurgen Klopp has shown this in his entire time at Liverpool. If a player plays well consistently, you'll let them stay in the team. The one time he didn't do that was at the start of the 21-22 season when Robertson was injured. Tsimikas played well against Norwich and Burnley. Then he brought Robertson back in for Chelsea. Robertson didn't have the best attacking game, but they didn't score down the right-hand side. Tsimikas up against Reece James would have been a massive problem. What else we got? Would you start Simi tomorrow just against him? Comes lost possession 20 times or so at the weekend? I might need some rhythm. It depends. I'd bring him off the bench. I wouldn't start him because we can't risk him getting injured as well. Unfortunately, we can't. I can't do 3 months of just Joe Gomez at left back. Here we go again with Tom shitting off potential transfer targets. Martinelli scored that goal. There was 2. So the Martinelli goal was scored in the first minute. There was a goal scored in the 45th minute by Saka. Would prefer a Simi replacement. I think you just go out and buy a left centre back as your Simi replacements. The defender I would take as a centre back is Diamande from Sporting. That guy's everything. So Sporting have a lot of good players. People try to shit on me when I was talking about Sporting last year. Sporting and Amorim have developed real good players that's in that club. Gonçalves, Palhinha came from there. Nunes came from there. Rafael Leao was from Sporting. They've got Diamande. They've got Inacio. They've got Fresneda at the minute. They've got Jokeres. They've got Hajulman. All of those are top players. All those are top players. Marcus Edwards at Sporting as well. Look at that Sporting side. It's a lot of good players. It's a lot of good players. But before we go, people, I'm going to quickly chat about the Tonali thing. Romano's confirmed now that he's going to be received a 10-month ban for illegal betting offences, and that's you gotta fit. It's kind of funny when you think about Newcastle. That's it. Record transfer for Tonali, and now they don't even get to use him for the rest of the season. It's kind of awkward. Oh, it's funny. It's funny. Look, I hope he gets. I hope he gets all the help. I hope he gets all the help that he needs. If it's as serious an addiction as has been said, gambling addiction's no joke, and stuff needs to be done about it in football and how it's mastered and everything. But it's funny about Newcastle because he was starting to actually adapt, and now he can't play for 10 months. What's this? Well, I don't know how to make people mods, mate. I'm clueless on this YouTube thing, mate. I've got no idea. No one's a mod on my channel. Milan knew, didn't he? It's a bold accusation, and I think if Newcastle try and suggest that, Milan will throw the fucking book at them in terms of suing them. Newcastle fans can hold it. I mean, Tonali did get to witness Darwin Núñez in the flesh, so at least he's got something out of his time in England. But it'll be interesting to see how he deals with it. But look, people, it's been a fantastic first ever lunch hour chatter, and I love his leaders. I'm back with Hassam on his channel at 6, so make sure you go in there, checking out that channel, subscribing. If you're new and you're not already, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turning on the notification bell so you don't miss any more content. I'm going to love yous, leave yous in a bit. Ta-ra, people.